We are recording. I think you can see my screen. All right. So I'll kick things off for a couple of us here, and then we'll post this. If you want to go back for the couple that are here, if you want to watch this again and get any information that I breezed over or whatnot, we'll be sure to post it and send the link out as well. It'll be on the SAO's website here once we're done. But to begin, I'll go ahead and introduce myself. I'm Troy Walton. I work for the Institute for the Environment. I'm a senior research associate, and I work in the Carolina Drone Lab as well. Radha and I have been teaching together for 2 or 3 years now, I think. So Radha, if you want to introduce yourself real quick.
Sure. I'm Radha Petrick. I am the director of the Institute for the Environment at Highlands Field Site. I'm also an assistant professor at UNC. And I am strictly based out of Highlands and teach remote sensing class among other classes in the Highlands field site.
Excellent. And Bob is joining us from SAO. Bob, you want to say hello?
Yeah, hi everybody. Good afternoon. Glad to be here today. I'm Bob Knopfsinger. I work as program director here in the Study Abroad office at Carolina. So I work with all of our programming in Latin America and make sure that all the back-end details are in order and that things run smoothly so that you can have optimal experiences out there in different locations. So glad to be here today and to answer some questions hopefully at the end.
Yes, perfect. All right, so this coming year, summer of 2024, will be my third time doing Ecuador/Galapagos and teaching remote sensing. And then we've kind of tweaked the trip a little bit every year. And then now, of course, this is going to be the best year yet for everything that we have planned, which we'll cover here in a few seconds. But the general construct is that we have 2 classes and 1 lab. So 7 total hours, 3 for each class, and then 1 credit for the lab. So Radha and I teach ENIC 479 remote sensing together. And then our super awesome counterpart from USFQ, who has taught with us for the past several years as well, Sixto, will be teaching 324 Intro to the Hydrological Process. Then also, Susan and Jay have been teaching it the past couple of years, but now they're going to be our guest lecturers here. So they're going to accompany us out to Tiputini, and we're going to do some heavy research while we're out there in the field. And then when we head over to Galapagos, they're going to head back to UNC and Chapel Hill. And then it'll just be myself, Radha, and Sixto. So a little bit about the courses. The first one, 324, is Water in Our World. And of course, it's tailored to Ecuador. So Sixto is a hydrologic engineer, I believe, some sort of engineer. Super smart on everything Ecuador, of course, being that he is from there. He's a native, works for the University of San Francisco de Quito. And if you don't know, they're a partner with us. So USFQ is kind of going to be our home base while we are in Ecuador, and we'll keep going out into our little hubs and then or spokes, and then we all come back to the hub of Quito. We'll talk more about that here, and I'll show you some maps in a few minutes. But we talk about the hydrologic process as it spans, of course, throughout the globe. But then if we look at particular systems in Ecuador and the different climates, because we have cloud forests, the Amazon, Galapagos. There's so many different regions inside of Ecuador. And of course, we all kind of come together for the lab. And the lab is kind of like the whole course almost, because we're outside so much. There's a little bit of like indoor classroom lecturing stuff, but we do so much in like the outdoor educational like classroom experience deal where we're not just sitting and staring at a PowerPoint. We're like looking at the things with our eyeballs, which is amazing, and it's so much fun. Then we get into 479, same idea, same principle, right? Everything kind of bounces off of each other. We talk about digital elevation models, surface models, et cetera, how that relates to hydrology. Then we look at, of course, drones, since I work with the drone lab, take a look at satellite imagery. And then now we're taking it even a step further. And with Radha coming in, we have a Lenovo grant that we were awarded this year to work with remote sensing and bats. And of course, Tiputini has some amazing bats that we saw last year. So we're going to incorporate that research into it. Take our thermal cameras with us, along with a couple small drones into Tiputini, and just have a very like kind of hands-on experience. It is not your typical death by PowerPoint type experience at all. Lots of movement, lots of activity, and lots of fun. So the general schedule that we're looking at, this is tentative. I'm going to go ahead and say that. I'll probably say it at least 10 more times. Tentative schedule that we have here is that before we depart, we have 2 weeks of remote classes, and nothing crazy here. We're talking like an hour and a half of a remote class where we introduce the initial concepts. And you'll see that 324 is like Monday, Wednesday, and then 479 we'll do a Tuesday, Thursday. And that could change based upon Sixto's availability, but general idea is that we have 4 remote classes before we depart. So our last class would be on May 30th there, and then on June 1st, we depart and we are heading to Quito. And basically all day Saturday, you'll be flying from wherever you are. We all link up in Quito anywhere between like 5 to midnight, and there's different shuttles that'll be set up by USFQ. They'll take us all to a hotel that we stay in Cumbaya, which is part of Quito, and we'll hang out there for the night, nice and relaxed. And then we wake up the next morning, head up to USFQ, which is just a short walk from the hotel. And they give us kind of a several-hour orientation of don't eat the street food, stay away from this part, buy this, don't buy that. Here's the general schedule, etc. Then Monday morning on June 3rd, we are heading to Tipitini. And I'll show you just how remote that is here in a second, because I mean, it is out there. You can't get much further remote than Tipitini, and it is incredible. So you can only go in on Mondays and Fridays. So we'll depart going on Monday. It's an all-day journey to get there. And then we'll get there about dusk, have dinner, relax for the night. And then Tuesday morning, we start the research. We start jungle walks. They have the most amazing guides that I've ever seen that will take us around the jungle, show us everything, talk about everything. They're from the local tribe right down the river. And it is just an incredible experience. And then on Friday, June 7th, Friday morning, we wake up and we depart, take that same crazy journey back to Quito. And then we'll have a couple days to relax, do some laundry. We'll probably have a remote class or 2 on USFQ's campus. And then on the 9th, we're heading to Galapagos. Now on Galapagos, there's 3 main islands, and then we'll be hitting kind of 2 out of the 3 for an extended period, and then just that short stop that you see on Santa Cruz there for the 14th. That's the best shopping on Santa Cruz. So we had 1 night there, and we don't want to have to do a ferry ride. So there may be just a little hiccup here. I'll just bring it up now, and then we'll see what happens. So San Cristobal has an airport, and then Santa Cruz, technically it's Baltra, but essentially they're the same thing. It's just like a short, 2-minute ferry ride across the little canal to get from Baltra to Santa Cruz. So they're the same thing. So there's 2 airports in Galapagos. The airport on San Cristobal may be closed. We don't know yet. So that just would mean that we have to fly into Santa Cruz and then hop a ferry over to San Cristobal. 2-hour ferry. It's kind of like a not very nice deep sea fishing boat, kind of, if you will. And it takes about 2 hours to get across, and then we're on the island. We'll hang out there for a few days. And then we'll take that same ferry ride back over to Isabela, which is quite different. So Santa Cruz is the most populated. That's why it's best shopping. San Cristobal is kind of in between. We'll do some classes at USFQ's campus and UNC's campus on San Cristobal in a classroom, which is a really unique experience. Lots of snorkeling, of course, and other cool things that we'll talk about here in just another second. Then over to Isabela, which is the most remote. There's no paved roads. It's all sand roads, totally different feeling, much more relaxed. Do some volcano hiking, etc. And then back to Quito for a couple days. And then June 21st, we are heading home. So it's about 3 weeks in Ecuador. And now I'll break down each of those. I know that was super fast, but we'll talk more about the specific activities of what we're going to do in each. So first, Tipitini Biodiversity Station. It's owned by USFQ. The director there is absolutely incredible. We've met him this year, and he'll be there again, of course, to walk us through everything and show us his guides and whatnot. So if you'll orient to the map here, Quito, that's where our home base is going to be. And then way out here to the east is Tipitini Biodiversity Station out into the Amazon basin. So the journey to get there, you take about an hour flight from Quito to Coca. Then you hop on a 2-hour canoe ride. You can see the picture down here in the lower left. It's like this big motorized canoe, 2 hours on that. Then it's a 2-hour bus ride, and then another 2-hour motorized canoe ride. And then we finally arrive at Tibutini. So it is a journey to get there, but man, believe me when I tell you, it is worth it. So we'll do a canopy tour. You can see on the lower picture on the right, that is in one of the tallest trees. I think it was over 100 feet tall. They have this nice tower set up in the top. You can climb up, you can see forever out over the top of the rest of the jungle. And we go into like these partially flooded areas on these different hikes. And like I said, we'll be doing the research. And not to brag, but I took this picture as we were going in. We saw 2 jaguars on the side of the riverbank, and there's researchers there. So it's an active research station, and these researchers have been there for like a month, and they've never seen a jaguar. They've been there many, many times. And our first time going in, we were like halfway out there, and we saw 2 jaguars off to the side of the river. So, I mean, it's pretty spectacular. And of course, there's monkeys everywhere. We get to do a river float, so they put us back in the canoe, take us about a mile up the river, throw in a life jacket, jump in the river, and you float down. There's no sound, and you just hear the monkeys and the birds, and you're just floating down the Tibutini River in the middle of the Amazon rainforest. It doesn't get much cooler than that. And then I've already mentioned it, I'll say it again, just the different researchers projects that we'll be working on. Susan's a forester, Jay is a hydrologist, Rod is specialized in small mammals and bats, and myself remote sensing. So, we're all are active researchers as well. And so you'll be partaking in these research projects with us. Quito, like I said, is the home base. So we'll get to visit Miradad del Mundo, which is the museum at the center of the world. And you can stand on the equator line that you see here. Really cool experience to see the water going this way, and then you go step on the other side of the line and the water goes that way. Lots of cool little demonstrations like that. Get to have some free time, of course. There is free time built into the schedule, so you get to kind of do what you want a little bit as well. We'll have like a half day off here and there. You can kind of pick what you want to do, so it's not like strictly regimented every single time. And of course, flexibility in all the schedule, everything changes. So that's just something that we get used to, and we always make it work. No big deal. Quito Old Town is very cool. Another great little experience. So definitely have at least like a half day, if not 2, in Quito to kind of explore around on your own and see all the cool, amazing sites that the city has to offer. Galapagos. It's like my favorite place on the planet. I'm a hammerhead nut, and I got to go diving with hammerheads the past couple of years. So we don't dive as part of the program, but if you do have your dive certificate, you can go diving in free time. But we do lots of snorkeling tours together where we all go, at least 2 or 3 between Kicker Rock on San Cristobal and then out to Las Tintoreras on Isabela. So lots of snorkeling built in. So if you don't like to snorkel, you'll love it. It'll be fine. We'll put a life jacket on you, and by the time you leave, you won't want to get out of the water. So just the general rundown of Galapagos here on the map. San Cristobal is over here on the east, Santa Cruz is in the middle, and then Isabela is the largest island that you see here on the west. And the amazing thing about it is these islands are pretty big, but the towns themselves are very small, and everything else is just like national park. So, it is very majestic. We get to see lots of marine iguanas, blue-footed boobies. There's penguins on Isabela. The picture you see here in the middle, that's at the top of Sierra Negra, the volcano that we'll hike. It's about a 5-hour hike, so a little stringent, but we go nice and slow, and it is just some of the best views that you'll ever see. But then, of course, we do actually do some schoolwork too. This is a desalination plant that we stopped in on Isabela, so we kind of intermingle the schoolwork with fun, and you don't even realize you're learning things. It's just so much fun. There's lots of tortoise reserves across the Galapagos, so we'll get to see lots of the giant tortoise. We'll do some bicycle tours. And then, I almost forgot to mention this. So 2 years ago, we were only in Galapagos, and the students got to do homestays for several weeks with the families, and they absolutely loved it. So we did not do that this past year because we were only on Isabela. But we're going back to San Cristobal this year. And so we'll have 4 to 5 days, depending on how the schedule flushed out. We're still waiting on our final details from USFQ. But you can expect to stay with a family that lives on San Cristobal for about 4 to 5 days. And I cannot tell you like the amazing stories that we got back from this, like the host moms, just they will spoil the mess out of you and you'll absolutely love it. We even had, yeah, if language is an issue for you and you don't speak Spanish, that is fine. There were several students 2 years ago that spoke very, very little Spanish, and they still just had an absolute blast. So absolutely worth it. You're gonna love it. Okay, now for the good stuff. The budget. So this is an estimate right now. This is pulled from SAL's website, so you can get in, look in the program, and see it. So you've got your tuition, standard stuff at the top, the program costs that could fluctuate a little bit depending on our final details and everything. That insurance, $40, no big deal. The admin fee at the top, and then that is all part of the package. Now the bottom part, this is estimates. So this is where it kind of comes in and it pays for you to shop around and find the airfare. So for you to get to and from Ecuador is on you, in addition to the standard fees that you see at the top there. So shop around for your airfare. We estimate the meals about $400. Some meals are provided, some are not. That's in our schedule. When USFQ will send that to us, and so we'll know on this day we have 2 meals provided, breakfast is on you, etc., whatever the case may be. But you'll have plenty of notice for that. But we estimate about $400. The passport, if you don't have that, of course you have to have some fees to get that. And then personal expenses, you can make that as much as you want because there are no shortage of amazing souvenirs in Galapagos. But $400 or $500 is about average, I would say. So that'll give you just kind of a rough estimate there of what we're looking at. But once we find this out, then Bob will be sure to post that information on SAO's website, and then we'll have the actual total, so there's no more questions left out. Next, I want to point out some deadlines for you. So the application deadline, and Bob, correct me if this is not correct, but I'm pretty sure it still is. On January 31st, your application must be turned in if you are considering going to Ecuador with us. So don't forget that date, and that's for January 31st. Applications are due. I can't remember if I mentioned this or not. There is a $50 application fee here. I can't remember if I mentioned that or not, but if you do want to fill it out, $50, non-refundable, go ahead and do that. Don't wait to get your application in because if it does fill up, then we'll have to start making some choices on who can go and who cannot go. We're looking between 12 to 15-ish students to go with us this year. So if we get more than that, then we obviously can't take more because there's only 3 of us professors that'll be going the whole time, and then we won't be able to handle everybody. So it will benefit you to get your application in sooner rather than later. And here's the website. I know you can't click on it, but you can just Google search it and find it really easy. The last thing I want to point out, this is on that same website. If you go to the UNC Environmental Studies in Ecuador, there's the costs / scholarship tab. And I highlighted this. Nearly $1 million in study abroad scholarships are awarded to UNC students each year. So if cost is an issue, like it is for most people, look around on this website, follow all these links. You can reach out to Bob or anybody else at SAO, and they'll be more than happy to help you along with this process. And of course, you can reach out to me too. I just may not have the answer, but I'm going to go to Bob. And then so if you want to cut me out of the loop, that's totally fine too. But I'm happy to help and at least make some connections. But don't forget to apply for these scholarships and financial aid because they're out there and it will help you be able to afford this amazing program. I think that's the last slide of just general information. I'm going to go back to the schedule here. Now, is there any questions, or Rada or Bob, do you have anything that you want to chime in on?
Not at this time for me.
Yeah, so I think one thing that I might say, and Troy did an excellent job of fleshing this out just related to the budget, but just wanted to reiterate that that was our budget from last year. And while we don't expect things to change radically from year to year, there's always a little bit of variability in terms of how much things cost, and with inflation and those different elements added in there. Please know that that is not a finalized budget just yet, but we wanted to give you some base of information to draw from, even if it does change slightly over the next few months. But just wanted to reiterate, we'll post it as soon as it is finalized. We are working together with a lot of different organizations across multiple countries, and so wanting to make sure that we have all of our T's dotted, or T's crossed and I's dotted before anything gets posted for us, even if I mix up sayings from time to time.
Perfect. Yes, that is from last year. I think I forgot to mention that. Thank you for cleaning that up. And now, questions. Do y'all have any questions for the few of you that are here? Everybody excited? You're probably filling out your applications right now, I'm guessing. No questions, man. How was that good and thorough, huh? No? Wow. All right. Okay. Well, if you do want to watch this again, get any information, ask more questions afterwards, please feel free to email myself, Rada, Bob, all three of us, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Program specific, and anything on about classes, schedules, feel free to reach out to me at any time. Email you back shortly. And then if I don't know the answer, I'll probably reach out to Bob or Rada and we'll find the answer for you. And I guarantee we'll get it within a couple days. So please don't hesitate to reach out if you had any questions. And I really look forward to seeing you all there. I'm sure all three of you that are here are going to sign up and it's going to be amazing. We're going to have a blast.
Thank you.
Ooh, Heidi left a comment. Thank you for the comment, Heidi. It is incredible. So much fun. We're gonna have a blast. Okay, thanks everybody. I will, Bob, I'll send you an email about how to post this. We'll figure that out.